Pete kept being sick and not showing up for the gig.
And then what happened was we really started to think we needed the great drummer in Liverpool. And the great drummer in our eyes was this guy called Ringo Starr.
Many people think of Ringo as the weakest link of the Beatles, but what many people don't realize is that they wouldn't have been the Beatles without him. They were all awesome musicians by themselves, but they were so much more together, and they knew it. Even though John was technically the leader of the band was a democracy. Ringo definitely added to the Beatles' success, and they wouldn't have been nearly as good without him. He wasn't flashy or a thundering beast behind a kit. He was a long way off Keith Moon, Ginger Baker or John Bonham when it comes to dazzling stick work, but he was a metronome behind the kit. He played a perfect beat over and over again. While John and Paul and later George were experimenting and trying to work out how to play a song in the studio, they could rely on Ringo to give them what they wanted on the drums every time. George Martin commented once that he couldn't think of a single take that broke down because of Ringo. The others fluffed their parts, but Ringo was bang on every time. He was the perfect drummer for the band. Playing music and singing wasn't the only talent that mattered to the success of the Beatles. Also critical were charisma, sense of humor, and ability to get on with the others when they were together nearly 24 hours a day in the touring years. Ringo was foundational to the Beatles' success. For one thing, he was the best drummer they ever played with. If you listen to the early Decca demos with Pete Best, Best's time and control are shaky, whereas Ringo is rock solid. When the Beatles were in Hamburg, Ringo was a star among Liverpool musicians. He was funny, charismatic and more popular than they were. He also had a lot more playing experience than they had, being the oldest one in the band and having gone out to Hamburg before they did. He was not as brilliantly skilled as younger drummers like Keith Moon and Mitch Mitchell, but the Beatles weren't a band of virtuosi. They were about serving the song, and Ringo always serves the song, playing an entirely worked out part in nearly every Beatles song he plays on, and almost never playing a generic 4/4 backbeat. He didn't play solos, but his improvisational drumming on songs like She Said, and A Day in the Life are part of what makes these songs great. And if you watch early live footage of the band, you can glimpse just how much of a powerhouse he was on stage. He so lacked ego that he was willing to put up with McCartney, telling him what to play, which was one of the things about McCartney that particularly got on Harrison's nerves. He was a wobbly singer, but with a characterful voice, and he didn't make a fuss when his songs were repeatedly rejected for being not good enough. Of the two songs he did write for them, one, Octopus's Garden, is one of their best loved novelty songs. He was also one of the most popular members of the band among the fans, being regarded as the funny, down-to-earth ordinary guy. He was deeply respected by the other Beatles, and he acquired enough backbone to make it clear to them when he was annoyed at being taken for granted. The Beatles needed Ringo the way food needs salt, and without Ringo they're another great band, but with him, they're the Beatles.
Hello.
That was Ringo, folks.
Well, what can I say?
And goodbye to all of us.
Well, this is Ringo. Everyone seems to have said everything here, so I'll just sign off by saying cheerio and best of luck from the Beatles.